Flo, can I call you Flo?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
You have to ask someone first when they're that big, right? It's like, I don't want to die up here. Cool. So, Flo, could you said that you've been playing basketball in Japan for, was it 6 years?
6 years, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
That was good.
Thank you. What has been the most culturally awkward moment for you in Japan?
I think greeting people, because I'm always hands, daps and stuff. So they say you one of the guys, right? I come through, handshake, how you doing? They start bowing. I'm over there like, all right, cool. And then I realized when I came back to London, I started bowing myself when I see my friends.
Have you headbutted anyone yet? Or have you face palmed someone?
You could do that, yeah.
So my question to you is, what is the biggest stumbling block that is stopping women from getting to the top in those organizations?
I think actually, well, there are two things. One is the corporate culture, which is not built for women in general, but more than that, it's women themselves. And I want to say confidence is the biggest issue. And by then, I don't mean the women are not confident, but it's the way that we perform in a corporate environment. For example, just as an example, when comparing men to women when we go for new job opportunities, when a man looks at a job description and goes, I got 6 of those covers, the rest I know I can learn. A woman looks at the same job description, she says, I've got 9 of those covers, I can't do that one, so I can't go for that job. And that's just a parody of how it actually works in the corporate environment. So we just don't push, we block ourselves from moving forward, and I think that's the biggest obstacle.
Okay, so that's the biggest inner obstacle. What do you think is the biggest obstacle from the corporate side? Because I think that's a good one.
Well, yes, I suppose it is, because the face of corporate London is very much the same. So there's one mold and you have to fit it. And if you don't fit it, they don't know how to get the most out of you as a talent. And that's the problem. And if you look at most boardrooms in big companies, banks, law firms, wherever, it's pretty much one individual and a facsimile of that particular individual, and that's what needs to change to give women and other minorities an opportunity. And the whole point is diversity of thought. So it's actually something for the better of the organization and therefore the world in general.
That's awesome, thank you. So what has been your biggest challenge, I guess as a sports person?
Yeah.
There are the huge highs, but there are the big lows. And I guess with business it's the same. There's all about the form and that confidence, that swagger. When you've had that kind of challenge in form, how have you responded to that? How have you dealt with it?
A lot of it is internalizing some things. I always have conversations with myself. I do a lot of self-talk. And people say that a lot of athletes are kind of, cocky and stuff like that. But for the profession, you really have to be. You don't want to always say it, but you always have to tell yourself that you're better than the next guy, you're better than your last performance, you're better than that. Because otherwise, if you start hearing the things that from the outside people are saying, you're going to start believing that. And once you start believing what the naysayers are saying, you're not going to make any kind of progression.
I think when we chatted earlier, you mentioned that you'd done an engineering course. Okay, what makes you go from doing engineering to starting your own magazine? I think that's the logical question I'm going to start with.
So, to answer that, I've got to give you a little bit of background in myself. And I was brought up in Iran, and the society always constantly is pushing you towards doing either medicine or engineering to have a valid career. So I was sort of pushed through that. And when I came to UK, I couldn't speak any English, so immediately the easiest things for me to do was maths and sciences because it's universal. So I kind of got pushed through that, and I was just doing it for 2 or 3 years. And my mother's a painter, so we've always had art and creativity in the family. And I always had that desire to go for it, but I'd never had the chance. So during university, I started photography and just completely fell in love with fashion photography. And while I wanted to work with better and bigger people, when you don't have the portfolio, you kind of can't do it. So I started meeting a lot of different artists around, and I thought that we should create a platform that empowers all the artists that need the exposure. And there are some amazing artists, but they just didn't know how to give themselves exposure. So that was the start of it.
Awesome.
Okay, me and my friends from university are trying to build our own fashion brand, and I'm in charge of social media. So I wanted to ask, what exactly have you been doing that has helped you build a social media presence in terms of gathering an audience, increasing your followers and loyalty to your brand?
Boom.
It's quite in depth because every brand is different, and you kind of have to figure out what's for you that works. But in general terms, I would say engagement, creating engagement between yourself and it's not always you talking and people assuming that you're listening. You always have to create that conversation between yourself and the people.
This question for the lady with the PR firm. Like, my question is, what would you advise, like, for someone who just graduated for marketing, to like, because I want to own a PR firm one day, and the question is, like, do you advise me to jump in now or to gain experience, or like just jump in now and follow like my intuition?
Okay, that's a really good question. I think I'd say that because I jumped in to some degree, and obviously I had to learn a lot along the way, and the advice I always give to my mentees is to try and get experience, either through an internship, work experience, shadowing, get a mentor in the field that you're looking to get into, as well as if you can identify some of your friends or associates who are starting a business or doing something, I don't know, they could be in music, fashion, you could become their publicist and create your own little public relations projects along the way. So whilst you're shadowing or looking for internships or work experience, as well as applying for some of the big firms, because I think it's quite important, if you can, to get a couple of years of experience in a really big PR firm or marketing firm or whatever industry you're trying to get into, because the structures that they have, the management styles, a lot of the lessons that they have, and the budgets, you really want to get that frame of mind about working big. So whilst you're looking to do that, work on your own little projects on the side, and you don't even necessarily have to get paid. I think one of the other speakers said that. I think sometimes we always look for the money first, but it's important to try and get the experience first and then look for the money, because the money always comes if you work hard enough anyway. But if you're really passionate, I think that's the way to do it. So mentoring, shadowing, work experience, applying for a big firm, and then doing your PR and marketing projects along the way as well.
Awesome. Okay, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for questions now. If you give these guys an amazing round of applause. I'd just also like to say, make sure you check out the Dream Nation Twitter feed. You'll see some handles going about, and maybe you can pop them a question on there as well. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Would you like to be at our next event? Visit dreamnation.co.uk and join our free mailing list in the top right-hand corner. You will receive exclusive content and free updates on future projects so that you'll never have to miss out again. Work hard and keep dreaming.